Hi there. I just wanted to make a clarification video for the people if they did record or observe my visions when I was laying in bed and experiencing these visions. I just wanted to clarify this deity and being and just a little bit of information on his origin story and who he is and the images and the thoughts and the visions that were transmitted to me for the 3 days I lay in bed. So this being created the angels and all the creatures basically on Earth. So he's from Mars. He's male. Life on Mars was destroyed by war. Something happened. He's the lone survivor. He came and then he created his children, the archangels, that have supernatural powers. They found the daughters of man attractive, and what race is he? He can make himself. When he spends time with his counterpart from Venus, he can make himself look Aryan. She can make herself look like whatever they'll mate. And if any kids come from that comes from that, they multiply. He can make himself look like an Asian god or a black god or whatever. He's from Mars, but he's male. But race doesn't really play a big role in who he is. I said some racist things during my vision, but he was just playing around with me, and I don't know. He's not racist. I don't think that this being is a racist person because of what I was saying. And that was just like I was just poking fun. We were just playing around, and Lucifer and Jesus and the Archangel Michael, all these angels do play a role, and they are familiar with this person being their father. So he would make himself look like a pig or a squirrel or a horse, spend time as a horse, and she would spend time as a female horse, and then they mate. He understands every creature, every being, every single thing on Earth. The backstory that was transmitted to me through what happened with his son Lucifer was that he was banished to Earth, to this realm, and his father didn't abandon him so much as he's the first child that he wants to tutor and teach. So he would take the form of a snake, a serpent, try to speak to him because he won't listen to him as a father figure, but as an animal or a plaything in this realm. He tries to teach him things, and he showed me these images from Lucifer's youth. Some might say that these images are from the Akashic records or things like that, but I don't know. It's hard to say. It's not like hallucination, but it's just like a vision. It's really interesting, and he just taught me like all types of things. Like from the three primary races, you get earth, air, and water. And from three primary colors, you get 7. So from 3 primary races, black, white, and Asian, you get 7 sub-races, which actually is kind of true with the color system, with 3 colors making 7. So, and just like lots of other things I didn't generally know that he taught to me. And the story, this would take me forever to explain the whole story to you. But that's basically the story. Jehovah's Witnesses believe that Jesus's angelic form is the Archangel Michael, and that Jesus's mortal form is the person known as Jesus. But he taught me like pi and its relation to how children are numbered. I know in Asian culture, some Asian cultures number the children, the firstborn children 2, and then the secondborn 3, and then the third child 4. So that's related to, he taught me pi, and that's an old tradition where the firstborn is actually, the second number of pi is 1. So you call, and then I think the third digit of pi is 4. It gets kind of confusing, but and the first digit is 3. But anyways, he taught me relationships between numbers and just making jokes. I don't want the white people that heard what I was saying in Riverview to be scared of him. He was just like relating to me his feelings on how these people were treating me or mistreating me, and he was just letting me vent out my pent up anger and just getting it out so that I wouldn't spontaneously combust. But it was funny. He's a really funny, jovial person. He doesn't mean anything by it. He didn't take any form, any race, and that's how he produced the angels and how they came to inhabit the universe and then call Earth home. A place where Lucifer was banished to, and for all intents and purposes, Lucifer may be omnipotent here, and on Earth. I don't know any other place on the universe, but the whole world is under the control of the evil one, or so we're led to believe. So, lots of things that I didn't know of before, and then I wasn't a real believer until I had these visions. If you're thinking about trying to come face to face with a being like this, I mean, that's just not going to happen. You'll have to move a really long way, and when the time is right, if you attain a godlike form or something like that, maybe you'll meet face to face. But I just met him through a dreamlike trance vision. It wasn't dreamlike; I was awake, obviously, but that's how I came to encounter him. And his children, supernatural powers that are obvious that you can observe today in that are latent archangel powers that pass down through their lineage and through their children, are like cyberkinesis, and those people are remarkably gifted at understanding electricity. They may have thoughts or hear voices telling them how certain things work in nature. The ability to communicate with nature is a power. The ability to know what certain trees and plants and berries yield to make chemistry. That's a power that was handed down through angels down to humans, and now to people nowadays that are diagnosed with mental illnesses that actually hear voices telling them how things actually work in the environment, or telling them to build a hydro dam in a certain place, and build a city, things like that. Technopaths, that's a real power to the ability to imagine parts and gears in 3 dimensions, put them together, just hear a motorcycle or look at something and just hear the sound of it and know that what's wrong with it right away. And those people, that's a power as well that you can see in real life. Not so obvious powers that you don't see very often are things like telepathy that people don't really talk about. Those and psychic abilities and other supernatural powers like lifeline tracking, the ability to track a sentient life form through the universe and know where they're reincarnated or their next form. So I could go through the list of powers, and there would be like 100 pages of supernatural powers that could be handed down from a various group of angels, and then mix and match them, and then put them into whoever it is that you become in the universe. I have a sadistic side, and I was assured that heaven is not a boring place. I thought like maybe we'll get bored and complacent, but we're males and we like to sword fight, and we have healing factors. It still hurts a little bit, and if you get into a duel with someone and then you chop off their arm, it'll grow back. It's no harm, no foul. But you duel for an arm, duel for an ear. There's something to gamble with in heaven. Just like it's a perfect place basically. I wish I could share my experience with you through the visions that I experienced. And if you want to meet some of these supernatural people, they don't give anything to chance. After 9/11, there was certain images in newspapers of masked men wearing the insignias and emblems of an army. And if you start crap with them, like some of these people are very trained physically and mentally, and they're under the control of they're all religious. They believe in a higher power and authority that they answer to, and this is as powerful as they are. And if you like Joint Task Force 2 is under the control of someone, or the Rangers in New York, that showed up, and they were all masked, and they showed up after 9/11. They were photographed around the world, taking in people in Afghanistan on planes and detaining people, and they won't even speak to you. They'll just be wearing the emblems and insignias of a soldier. They won't even utter a word, and if you identify yourself as being hostile, they will kill you and anyone that resists. And you won't get to. They don't leave anything to chance. It's probably a face that they use a lot. Or they don't want you to know their voice, or they don't give anything to chance. They won't give anything away. And all these supernatural people come together and they make up the general population of Earth. So I just wanted to clarify that this being he understands what it's like to be a victim of war, see his planet destroyed by a war, be the lone survivor on Mars, recreate creatures and beings on Earth. He's extremely benevolent. He's very kind, and he's a father figure to me. He's like a father, and I'm like a son to him, and we're all more or less his children, some way, shape, or form. And so I just wanted you to know, if you were scared of what I saw, or do you think he's demonic or evil? He's not. He's a very benevolent being. He can take on any form, any race, black, Asian, white, whatever his wife is craving, or his counterpart from Venus, and that's the offspring that they'll bear fruit to, that will multiply, and that's just how it works. So I hope that clarifies things, and I hope you don't think I'm crazy because I have religious visions or things like that. But the last one was around December 21st, 2012. And they said, like, when I was basically like, this has to happen now. I don't want to stay here any longer. But they basically told me that I'll have to die first, which is probably happening in a short amount of time here. I think my end is after 46, 47 years of age. That's how it ends. But we'll see. And have a good night. This is my final video for the evening. I just wanted to share that with you. And have a good evening.